Hi everyone, it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be working on another Project Life spread for week 21 of 2023. So this week is a really fun one to document because it is the rest of the photos from mine and Will's Chicago trip. So if you haven't checked out the layout video that I worked on previously, I did 4 12 by 12 layouts also documenting this trip. And so these are all the rest of the photos. So I ended up with so many pictures from this trip to Chicago. It was really just basically a one-day trip, a couple days of driving where we did a little bit of other stuff. But for me, I don't care if it's one day of the week. These are the pictures that I wanted to document. So that's what I did. So I once again pulled out basically just cards from Studio Calico. There may be a couple other random ones mixed in there, but the majority are Studio Calico. And I tried to fit all of my photos onto a couple different little inserts here. So first off, we're going to be working on this 12 by 12 spread. And then we're going to quickly buzz through a couple inserts. So as you can see, my page is already coming together very quickly because as I was printing off the photos, I was figuring out what size I wanted all the photos and where they were going to go within the layout. So I basically already know what I'm doing before I even turn the camera on, and that just helps with the flow and to keep everything moving along nicely. But within all of these photos, they're basically from the two places that we went while we were in Chicago for our main day, the Color Factory and the Wonder Museum. So I definitely recommend both of these places if you have not been. They are so much fun. They're interactive, kind of like museums, exhibits, kind of situations where there's so many fun things for you and your friends or your partner or whoever to do together. You can see at the top there's a picture of me and Will going down a slide into a ball pit. So that was really fun. At the bottom at the Wonder Museum, there was like an optical illusion room. I've always wanted to do one of those rooms. So I was really excited when I saw that. So obviously when you're standing, it's like a thing where whichever side you're standing on, you either look big or small. And I just thought that was really fun. So I love documenting all of these photos. But like I said, I ended up with a ton of pictures at the end of the trip, and I wanted to document all of them in my scrapbook. So there will be a couple inserts here and there. So I also added on a little bit of ephemera. I still had a few stickers off of a kind of puffy sticker sheet that I got at the Color Factory. So I added on an ice cream cone to the top, also that little arrow on that Chicago card. You'll notice as I was kind of putting everything together, I ended up changing out that card there and I stamped on Chicago, which I think looks so much better. Also, those two little ephemera pieces at the very top on the right side, one says never blue when I'm with you and the other said you've got nice buns. Those were little compliment cards that me and Will gave each other in the Color Factory. So that was a fun memento as well. So I did have a couple like food photos and I wanted to do a couple flips. Unfortunately, I could only find one photo flip, like these Simple Stories flip pocket thingies. I could only find one that was a 3x4, but I did have several from the multi-pack that you can buy that were 4x4, which I really never use. So you'll notice I just cut off, I added the photo inside the photo flip so I would know what size, and then I just cut off a little bit of excess, and I used just some regular old Scotch clear tape and taped up one side. You can't even tell. And then I had another photo flip to use, so worked out good enough for me. I'm going to pop that right on, and I love adding these onto layouts where I have additional photos and things. I didn't have a ton to say, so I just added in a Studio Calico card there that says good food, good mood, which was definitely true of our trip. And there you have kind of the main 12 by 12 spread, but we are going to work on a couple other ones. So I had so many photos from this trip, as I've said many times. So what I decided to do within this kind of week in my project life is, so I had 4 12 by 12 layouts. So those will be housed together in my scrapbook, but in between the two page protectors that hold those 4 layouts, I'm going to pop in one of these inserts, and then I'll have the other insert right before the 12 by 12 full 12 by 12 spread that we just did, which hopefully that makes sense. Who knows if it does, but of course I will be doing a full flip through of my Project Life album probably in a month or so, because I always do 2 Project Life albums every year. So this one is getting pretty chunky. It's almost there. So I will probably be wrapping this one up here pretty soon. So once again, the majority of these photos are just from those 2 places, but I do have a picture there of Will and our friend Clover. That is someone who Will worked with previously here in Memphis, and they happened to have just moved to Chicago just a few weeks before we went. So we were able to grab dinner and ice cream with them, which was super fun. And those were my 2 favorite places that we ate. So I did mention that in the journaling and mentioned that, you know, Clover had moved there and all that kind of fun stuff. Then over here, a few more photos. I loved this sticker from the sticker sheet that I got from the Color Factory of the big building. So I definitely wanted to use that. You'll notice once again, I kind of messed up on the card. I didn't necessarily always mess up on my journaling, but I just wasn't vibing with the card. And I was like, I don't like the way this is looking. And it happened to be 2 cards that I kind of quote unquote messed up on were white cards, and I think that kind of annoyed me. So this one I was kind of debating between a couple, but I ended up going with this journaling card that had red on it because there is a little bit of red beside me in that selfie. So I just kind of went with that. And then I'm adding on stars throughout all of these spreads. I'm adding on both the small gold stars and the small colorful stars, and those as always I just punch out of random paper with my little tiny star punch from Amazon, and then I just add them into that dish, and then I always have them handy whenever I need them, which I really love. So there's another one down. These go by really quickly, as you can see, because the majority of these inserts are just photos. So I'm really only having to decorate like a very, very small amount, which is exactly what I wanted. I knew that I had a lot of pictures to document. I'd already done 4 whole layouts, so I didn't want to spend a ton of time within these pocket pages. And that's another thing that I just adore about pocket page scrapbooking is how fast you can get a project done. So with layouts, of course, there's a lot more that goes into all of those. But with these pocket pages, that's what they're meant for. They're so easy to just pop everything together. And I love that about pocket pages. So there I added a little bit more journaling with another sticker, and then I'm going to add a few other stars to this Out of This World card. And I love these 3 photos. They're from some really fun exhibits. The bottom 2 photos are from the Wonder Museum, and some of the art exhibits that we got to walk through were so cool. That one at the very bottom with Will, you kind of stood in the middle of the room on this little platform, and then all around you it would add your photo to the screen, and it was just doing all kinds of interesting things to your face, like maybe scribbling something out or adding little things on you. I don't know, it was a really cool exhibit. And then here we have a picture of us playing with balloons at the Color Factory, and then I have a couple pictures of one of my favorite little rooms that you went into in the Color Factory, and it was all about your birthday, and you could it had each month, obviously, and talked about each month, but then you would take off the actual day that you were born, and on the back of that, it would talk about how the date that you were born kind of molds your personality, and it was just really cool and fun, and Will's was so spot on. He's a leap year baby, February 29th, and it was completely him, to a T. It was crazy. So that was fun as well. I also have those little things that we took off as a souvenir, which is really cool. So then I can always go back and read them and remember what was said. So you'll see there I added on a cute little Color Factory piece, and I'll give you a little up close here, and then we are basically done. So even though we did 2 inserts and a full 12 by 12, we just knocked it out super quickly. I'm going to add one other little flippy here, and that'll be it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like. Please also consider subscribing, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye, y'all.